So if the voice acting thing doesn't work out, I'll make popcorn for a living. Question? Yes?
If you could use your full metal powers in real life, what would you do with them?
Cause what? No, I wouldn't cause mass mayhem.
Make Milky Ways!
Well, maybe just a little mass mayhem. You know what I would do? I would shrink Travis. Travis would end up being like 5 feet tall. And I'd be like, that's what I do. And then I would, of course, take the height for myself. Question? Yes?
How did you become a voice actor?
That's a great question. How did I get started voice acting? Ever since I was very, very young, I'd been acting. Been doing a lot of theater, you know, and about 12 or 13 years ago, I was working on a video production in Houston, and a guy said that I was working with said, "Hey, you've got a lot of experience in theater, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I've done a lot." And he said, "You ought to go and audition for this place in town. It's called ADV Films, and they do this Japanese anime stuff. They dub it into English, and they need actors." And I thought, wow, really? That sounds so fun. Like, you mean like Speed Racer? And he's like, yeah, just like that. I loved Speed Racer when I was a little kid. When I was little, like 12, 13, oh my gosh. My friend Wayne and I would, I know, right? I hate you. And I loved it. And so I went and auditioned, and I got cast as Vega in Street Fighter 2. And then the next show came up, and I got cast again. And then the next show came up, and I auditioned, and I got another role. Just kept going and going. And then 3 or 4 years into working with ADV, I met some people from Funimation in Dallas. And I didn't even know that they were doing Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff up in Dallas. I thought this was the only place that did this weird little Japanese anime stuff. And I didn't even know anyone watched it. You know, it was just a fun little weird, you know, kind of a little subculture of interest. And so I did a convention with these people from Funimation, and a couple of weeks later they called me and said, "Hey, would you come up and would you be interested in coming up and doing some work for us?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I went up and I did Broly for Dragon Ball Z, and then I started doing the next show with Funimation. Yu Yu Hakusho, Kitty Ray, Case Closed, Spiral. That was ADV. Yes, but ADV, yeah, ADV, awesome. But it was, that was with ADV. But so now I'm doing stuff in Houston and in Dallas, right? Well, and then Funimation got Full Metal Alchemist. And so then there's that. Well, then in the meantime, I started meeting people at conventions who live and work in Los Angeles. And they were like, "Dude, you should come out to LA and do some stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, I would love to do that." So I started doing video game stuff out there and auditioning for things. And they didn't want to cast me in any kind of a regular recurring character because I didn't live in Los Angeles. So they're like, "We don't want to give this guy some big role. We don't want to give this guy some big role and then, you know, and then he can't be here or he has to fly out here every time we need him. What if we get a deadline on our production and we've got to have him in here in the next day or two and he can't get back here? Or what if his character only has 5 lines and he doesn't want to spend $400 flying out here to walk into the booth, say 5 lines and leave?" So for a long time, I didn't do any kind of a recurring character in Los Angeles. Still working in Houston, still working in Dallas, doing some stuff in LA. And then finally, I got cast as Ikaku in Bleach, the Baldy himself. And that became a recurring role. And then I started dating a young lady that lived in Los Angeles and doing more and more work out there. And so currently I am living in LA and doing a lot more regular work out there with Naruto. Kakaishi is done there. Vampire Night, we just did there. So those are things that I would not have been able to be a part of had I never been out there. So God has been very good to me.
What about
yes, sir.
Girl?
So, Zagi? Yeah. Yes. Question.
Do you think
What Tamaki line?
The favorite one.
The one that I love. I have to do it with you then, because I need a victim. Come up here. Man, that's weird. What are you? You're following me. Ah! What's your name? Kaylana, do you know the scene? Kaylana knows the scene. Okay, you ready?
I don't think my father will be happy if I drink this.
What if I let you drink it from my mouth?
Then I would drink it.
Yay, Kaylana! Yes? Do you have a question? Why would you ask me something that you know I'm going to hate you for asking? What is it? No! See, I don't hate you at all. I just refuse. No, you guys, you know what? Hey, we decided, Travis and I, that the miniskirt line must die. It has to die. In fact, you want to hear something great? Somebody came to Anime Expo last week in Los Angeles, and they had made a custom ball cap that had embroidered on the front of it, "Stop the miniskirt line." And I loved it, and I fell at their feet and worshipped. And they're gonna send me one. I love it. No, you know what? That was really fun for a little while. And that line needs to go away. We need a new fun line. Yes, sweetie?
Can you please tell us the donut story?
Tell you the donut story. How, okay, let's see a show of hands of everyone here who has never heard the donut story. How is that possible? You're lying! You are lying. I know you're lying. Okay. Gosh. Okay, here's the donut story in a nutshell. I was working with Colleen. Colleen was directing an episode of Full Metal where it was the Other Brothers Elric. Remember that episode where they had Russell Tringham and his brother they were pretending to be the Elrics, and then Ed and Al actually show up. Well, at the beginning of that episode, Ed gets punched in the face. And we're watching the animation and we're dubbing the lines, and all of a sudden I see Ed with this big swollen mouth. And I'm like, oh cool, he's got his cheeks all swollen up. And I thought I should put something in my mouth to kind of make it sound like puffy and swollen when I talk, right? And so I said to Colleen, I'm like, hey, give me 1 minute, I'll be right back. And I ran over to the vending machine room, and I bought what seemed to me at the time to be the perfect food to jam into my cheek. Powdered sugar donuts, the little ones, they're perfect. Perfect size, perfect consistency. So I ran back, I wasn't hungry, this was a prop. So I ran back to the booth and I stuck one of them in my mouth and I recorded the first line as Ed with his swollen cheek. What I didn't even consider was how long he had the swollen cheek. I didn't know yet how far down the anime he was going to keep having to talk like this. So I did the first line and then I just kind of waited while the engineer slips the line around and kind of checks it to make sure it fits and everything. So while they're all doing that, the actor's just standing in the studio. Or more specifically. And I don't know if you've ever tried to hold a powdered sugar donut in your mouth for more than about 20 seconds, but it doesn't stay a powdered sugar donut for very long. It starts to turn into some sort of gross thing, much like Ed's mother when they tried. Yeah, I was sick. I mean, like transmutation. We're gonna bring Mom back. Brother, she looks like a donut. Don't eat her up. Let's have Mom for breakfast. Anyway, okay, that really went off. That really went out. Derailed. But anyway.